After 2 unlucky encounters with legions of Necromorphs, it makes sense that Isaac Clarke has become a seasoned monster killer, and in Dead Space 3 you'll need all the limb-severing expertise you can muster because it's all about the action. Horde-like encounters are commonplace, and though Dead Space 3's action-heavy focus may turn you off at times, the inclusion of cooperative multiplayer, a deep weapon crafting system, and optional side quests provide plenty of reasons to keep coming back for more, as long as you have a high tolerance for carnage. You'll love finally getting answers about the origins of markers and necromorphs. Where did markers come from? What is their purpose? And what the heck is that convergence thing the crazy unitologists keep babbling on about? Dead Space 3 finally starts filling in the blanks. By the end, you'll have a pretty good idea of just what's going on and why. These moments of clarity easily overshadow the game's weaker plot points, like the contrived love triangle between Isaac, Ellie, and her new boyfriend Norton. You'll hate the dull, bland environments. There's a distinct shift in setting between the first and second halves of the game. Initially, you'll be flying through space and exploring the long-abandoned corridors of ancient spaceships. Then, you'll transition to the icy planet of Tau Volantis. While this is an initially intriguing setting, it quickly becomes monotonous. You'll travel from icy cave to generic storage facility and back again, seeing the same looking buildings over and over. After a few hours, your eyes will beg for a change of scenery. You'll love the addition of side missions and weapon crafting. The bulk of Dead Space 3's campaign has a similar vibe to what you've seen from previous games in the series, but the inclusion of optional side missions and a complex weapon crafting system add a surprising degree of freedom to the game. Optional quests sometimes provide neat bits of historical context to your mission, and even when they don't, they always finish with a giant cache of loot. You can use these resources to build a seemingly limitless arsenal of weapons. The crafting system is a bit convoluted and poorly explained at first, but it becomes an immensely enjoyable tool once you get the hang of it. From explosive grenade launchers that double as ripsaw machines, to revolvers with lightsabers attached to them, you can construct just about anything. You'll hate hordes of necromorphs that leave you feeling frazzled. Dead Space has always been about tension. In previous entries, it existed in the form of apprehension. In Dead Space 3, tension comes in a different flavor. Here, it's created by the stress of battling waves and waves of horrific necromorphs. It's hard to strategically dismember much of anything when you're surrounded by 15 flailing enemies, and the endless onslaught practically destroys any sense of pacing. While those long-winded battles generate their own kind of high, that high isn't nearly as poignant as the heart-racing intensity of not knowing what might be lurking around the corner. You'll love co-op makes the non-stop action immensely more enjoyable. Despite being a controversial addition, co-op is the best way to experience Dead Space 3. During solo play, you'll quickly grow weary of endless waves of enemies. Grab a friend though, and Dead Space 3's non-stop action becomes significantly more enjoyable. Where one player might struggle to tackle large groupings of necromorphs, two can effectively work together to turn walking monsters into piles of appendages. You'll hate the lack of memorable set pieces. Even if you're playing co-op, there's little to punctuate the non-stop barrage of enemies. Sometimes you'll have to ascend an unstable cliff as giant chunks of ice tumble toward you at blistering speeds, and you'll even get to free fly through space on occasion. But even Dead Space 3's best moments are weak in comparison to the creepy opening of the original or the return of the Ishimura during Dead Space 2. If you've been a fan of the series from the onset, Dead Space 3 probably isn't the sequel you were hoping for. It's certainly a sound action game, and you'll still have a good time dismembering necromorphs with some wildly inventive weapons and a buddy at your side. But if you were hoping for a fright-filled adventure built on the foundation of anxiety, well, that's one terrifying monster that's nowhere to be found in Dead Space 3. Dead Space 3 gets 3.5 out of 5 stars.